So we can pretty much all agree that the release of Highguard has been a major disaster for the game and its developers. Now, this video isn't to clown on anything, but this is actually a warning to any game developer in the future who is planning on releasing a game in a similar genre to other games who have had major flops in their categories, for example, like the hero shooters. If you want to come out with another hero shooter, keep in mind, your player numbers are going to be low unless you're able to beat out all the mechanics in all the other hero shooters in many different ways. Now, here's one thing that Highguard did that I haven't seen in any other hero shooters. Shooting on horseback and on mounts, that's unique. That is objectively unique. But what is unfortunate is the fact that the game was not polished on release after it was premiered as the last trailer for the Game Awards. Well, for now, we know that they have 5v5 now as a limited time mode. Kind of reminds you of the no skill-based matchmaking mosh pits in Call of Duty Black Ops 7 or 6. Remember that? Do they still have the mosh pits? I'm not sure because I didn't buy it. So yeah, limited time 5v5, and it's probably limited time because they're gonna probably be testing the waters for like the internet bandwidth and stuff, seeing if it's worth even keeping a 3v3 or if they're gonna do to Highguard what they did to League of Legends with twisted tree lines. But some of the patches include added the ability to set crouch to hold or trigger for all okay, that's bad. If on release, you don't even provide the option to switch between hold or toggle for crouch, a necessary movement feature for any FPS game, what are you doing? You have no business releasing without that type of functionality. Video settings. Motion blur and depth of field needs more testing to disable safely. If you're gonna release a game, it needs to be complete on release. At the bare minimum, it needs to be done. Now, if there are some minor bugs and glitches, okay, then yeah, release some patches out for that. But for absolutely necessary functions, being able to have 5v5 game modes on big maps, being able to safely disable motion blur and depth of field, if that isn't already settled, then I don't think your game is ready to be released. I really don't. Like, they announced that it was gonna be released, I think 2 weeks after it was revealed at the Game Awards. The new Divinity game was also revealed on the 2025 Game Awards. Is that releasing in 2 weeks from now? Or 2 weeks from that? No. You know why? Because they still gotta do more quality control for that. Man, so this should be a warning to any video game developer. If you're planning on coming out with a game, it needs to come out complete. It needs to be tested before it's revealed out to the public unless you want to do beta testing. You need to look at other games in the similar categories that you're making your game for. What makes those successful? The features that people love about those games, and also look at the things that the people don't like about those games. Add and remove accordingly from your game. And also, if you are a type of game that wants to incorporate story or politics into it, because someone in my comment section actually mentioned that some good games do have politics in it, which is true. For example, The Elder Scrolls has a politics system in it for Skyrim. You can either choose Imperial or Stormcloak, and whichever one you choose is up to you. That's the most obvious statement I could have ever said. So you can have politics in your game, but just make sure that they're good politics. And if you're gonna add identity politics into it, show both sides. Show both sides of the spectrums. Don't just push for one side and completely leave out or criminalize the other side that you just so happen to agree with. Even if the other side objectively is evil, you gotta give that choice. And you have to give nuance for both sides, in favor and against both sides. And keep in mind also how you design your characters too. If your characters fit the stereotype for what people online called libtards, or caricatures for what other people call chuds, keep in mind, you're gonna get hate for that, and it's going to be preemptive before the game even comes out. If you have a fantasy world and the person has a high top fade, a pompadour, and some like nice little star-shaped etch-a-sketches in their head, you're walking in dangerous territory. Because on the internet, if it walks like a duck, it probably quacks like a duck. Even though chickens walk like ducks too. So if you don't want your chicken looking like a duck, then don't make it quack like a duck. Don't make it look like a duck. And also make sure that your characters are attractive and appealing to look at. Make characters that you think the average gamer, not the modern audience, but the average gamer who has been gaming for more than 20 years of their life would imagine themselves as being. If you're a man and you're playing as a video game character, do you want your character to look like this or like this? Now, ladies, this or like this? Think about what those answers to those questions would be. That's how you should cater the designs to your audience. Make your characters and their outfit designs appealing, and if you don't want to sexualize them, make them look cool. Now, here's a really cool non-sexualized dude character, and here's a really cool non-sexualized female character. If you don't want to go the sexualized route, just go for the cool route. Make your game a game that people want to look at. Make it enjoyable for them to see. Do not make it something where you're trying to send a message by purposefully making the male or female, it's always female by the way, that are made to look ugly, to like spread some kind of like a pro-feminist message, which there's nothing wrong with feminism. At least the original feminism, okay? What's going on right now isn't even feminism, but that's beside the point. Feminism is not where you constantly say that all normal looking women are just inherently ugly. That's not feminism. It is not feminism to push the idea that the regular average woman is ugly and supposed to look ugly. Real feminism is about embracing who you are as a woman, no matter what you look like, no matter what your body is shaped like, no matter what conditions you may have. Regardless of what life has ever thrown at you as a woman, it is the power to be able to overcome through the virtue of femininity. That is what feminism is, at least how I see it. And the same thing goes for like transgenderism too. Like if you want to make a trans character, cool, but you don't have to make their hair blue or pink. You really don't. You really don't. If you want the status quo of transgenderism being a normal thing in society and you want to communicate that in your game, then make the trans characters look like a regular freaking person. You don't have to make them look like a lollipop in the midst of a bunch of chocolate bars. You don't gotta do that. You don't have to do that. Because not all trans people are like that, okay? I don't know if you know that or not, but not all trans people are ultra hyper color pop. Not all of them are, okay? Trans people have been around for like, what, since the time of Rome or something like that, right? So yeah, if you want to add like identity politics into it, just make the characters freaking normal then. Or make them cool, but don't try to like push them as like more cool than the average regular person, because that's just gonna end up isolating the rest of the gamers who don't want to see, oh, this trans person's cool because they're trans. You're not cool because you're regular. So if you want to put trans representation or any kind of identity politics representation in your game, and you really want those people in identity groups to be seen as part of the status quo, then treat them like the status quo and incorporate them in the same way that you put non-gender identity or non-identity politics characters in your game. Make them all equal with each other. Like, make them all equal. Your game should be made rated E for everybody. And I'm not talking about like ESRB ratings here. I'm talking about your game should appeal, or at least try to appeal, to everybody, including and especially to the people who you disagree with. Because at the end of the day, wouldn't you want to get money from people who hate you? Right? Wouldn't you want to get money from the people you disagree with anyways? Like, come on. So make a game that caters to everyone. And another big reason why I say not to be so standoutish in identity politics is because, newsflash, a lot of people want to play video games to get away from the cruel realities of this world. Either they're getting too many identity politics pushed into their face, or they're getting persecuted for their identity politics. Either way, people play video games to escape from the real world, not be reminded that we live in a cruel one. Like I said, politics are fine, but don't try to bring callbacks to the real world in a game where you want people to escape from the real world and spend all the remaining time of their lives in it. And as far as I know, Highguard doesn't even really have identity politics in it like that, right? But Highguard is a warning to any future game developers or any current game developers that want to revolutionize any kind of genre or subgenre in gaming. Make sure the game is finished and a game that people actually want to play. Like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. Bye.